In recent weeks, we have heard so much about Rodri wanting to leave Manchester City, and it looked like he was going to end up at Real Madrid. But there has been a very interesting turn of events in the last couple days, and recent developments say that he might now be moving to Catalonia instead. And as far as we're concerned, that is the one signing the world cannot let happen this summer. It will destroy absolutely everything. Football fans, this is the deal you don't want to miss. Whether you're hunting for an iconic World Cup jersey or the colours of your favourite club, Goal90 Shop has the perfect pick for you. And right now, everything is a flat 15% off, with free shipping anywhere in the world. So don't wait. Hit the link in the description, head over to Goal90 Shop and grab your favourite jersey today. We all just saw Spain dominate at the 2026 World Cup, and Rodri was one of the standout players. He was literally named the player of the tournament, showing how excellent he was in that team. The injury he picked up in 2024 made people think that his career was over. He struggled to return to full fitness in 2 seasons at Manchester City, but just like Guardiola predicted, he returned to shine very bright at the World Cup, reminding the world why he won the Ballon d'Or in 2024. But what was one thing you noticed about that Spain World Cup squad? It felt like a Barcelona annex, didn't it? The starting lineup often featured Cubarsí, Pedri, Dani Olmo and Lamine Yamal. Then they would have Ferran Torres coming off the bench, while Gavi also featured. Barcelona was surely very well represented in that team, and apart from that, their style of play was also well represented. They love to hold the ball, control the midfield and dictate play. It is the Barcelona way. And in order to achieve that, they need excellent midfielders. And well, historically, that's one thing Barcelona has always had. Whether they produced them from the academy like Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets and Guardiola, or they bought them like Figo, Laudrup, Maradona and Johan Cruyff, the club has always had such outstanding maestros at the centre of the park through the years. This is one team that has always prioritised technique, control and vision over physicality, and it is pretty evident in the profiles they have always employed in the middle of the pitch. And even till this day, that tradition has continued. Hansi Flick may have made a lot of tweaks to the Barcelona way, but that midfield tradition has gone nowhere. The club still employs some of the finest midfielders in the world, some produced by La Masia, Olmo, Gavi Bernal, Fermin Lopez. Others brought in from other clubs, Pedri, Frenkie de Jong. In every Barcelona generation and every iteration of the club's philosophy, the midfield has always been very important. But it's not just the midfield, it's the centre midfield. Of course, attacking midfielders have the roles that they play at Barcelona, and they will always be given due respect. But the ones who get the most adulation from the fans are the ones who sit deep and control the tempo of the game, the metronomes. Think Pep Guardiola, Xavi Hernandez, Sergio Busquets, Pedri. And in the world of football right now, the greatest metronome is Rodri. Immediately after him is Pedri. That's before you then begin to mention the likes of Vitinha and Rice. Barcelona were already bossing and dominating midfields with Pedri and de Jong. Adding Rodri to the fold would make them totally unplayable. This team will now have the 2 best metronomes in the world of football right now. It would now be extremely difficult to outplay them in the midfield. You see, one weak point Barcelona's midfield seems to have had in the last couple years is a lack of physicality. Controlling the game and dictating the tempo has never been difficult for them, but sometimes they have lacked the intensity required for some high-tempo games because of a lack of legs in the midfield. This is something that became even more obvious during Gavi's injury absence over the past 2 seasons. A lot of fans and pundits explained that this was the reason Barcelona have recently cruised in the league but struggled in the knockout phases of the Champions League. The midfielders were just unable to match the intensity and physicality of their opponents, which left them often losing those 50-50 battles. But all by himself, Rodri solves that problem. This is one man who is an absolutely complete midfielder. His passing, technique and ability to control a game is never in doubt. But he is also a machine and a physical specimen. He is a destroyer and an aggressive dueler. He has that rare ability to foil the opponent's attack all by himself and almost immediately kickstart one for his team. Many great midfields in history often needed one destroyer and one tempo controller. Gattuso and Pirlo are a perfect example of this. But Rodri is a man who plays both roles all by himself and to a very high level too. When you add a player like this to what is already a really great midfield, it starts to look really scary for the rest of Europe. And mind you, their attack is getting deadlier by the day. They already had Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, 2 of the outright best attackers in world football, and now they have gone to add Karim Adeyemi and Anthony Gordon. and they are not even done just yet. Reports say that they are looking to add one more attacker to the fold before the window closes. This is about to be a truly unstoppable team, and when you look particularly at the way Flick likes to play, you can see why Rodri will be such a lethal weapon. When you like to push your entire team up and play really high up the pitch, it is important that you have a midfielder who can read the danger brilliantly and stop it before it even starts. That is exactly what Rodri is. Obviously, when you play in this way, you'll be caught out a few times and the entire team will have to chase the ball. But a midfielder like this will drastically reduce the amount of times that happens because he reads the game to an extraordinary level and is always at the right place at the right time. Some people will say that Rodri's injury issues might make him not as valuable to Barcelona as they hope he will be, but because they already have Pedri, they won't be too reliant on Rodri in the early parts of the season, when they really need him is in the knockout rounds of the Champions League, and if he can deliver for them in those games, it would surely be a worthy investment. Another concern is Rodri and Pedri's compatibility in the midfield. In Spain, it has become quite obvious that those two don't exactly do well playing together, as their games are actually very similar. They both want to occupy the same zones and execute the same actions, which of course could be a massive problem for Barcelona. But we think that this is actually a problem that can be solved when they play alongside each other week in, week out, as opposed to just linking up one summer every 2 years. These are two world-class players with an incredible knowledge of the game, so we're pretty confident that they can coexist in the same midfield. Xavi, Iniesta and Busquets shared a lot of similarities, but they found a way to coexist and create the greatest midfield trio football has ever seen. We're pretty confident Pedri and Rodri can do that as well, and we were given a glimpse of what could be in the World Cup final. Pedri didn't start that game, but he was brought on in the 62nd minute, and that was when Spain really turned the heat up on Argentina. Rodri and Pedri shared the pitch for 37 minutes, and they didn't get in each other's way even once. They worked very well together, and you could even say that Spain played much better when they were both on the pitch, so it can surely work. Honestly, we just don't see how anything can go wrong for Barcelona with this one. Spain won it all by having full control of the midfield and always stifling their opponents, and one person who embodies completely that is Rodri. Even the physicality monsters like France and Argentina were no match for him. Bringing that to Barcelona is just going to be game over. This might be what they need to get their hands back on the big ears once again. The rest of the world cannot just sit back and watch this happen. If they do, Barcelona is going to become absolutely unstoppable. Anyway, we now want to hear from you guys. Do you agree that Rodri can turn Barcelona into an absolutely unstoppable team once again? How well do you think he'll perform in the Blaugrana? Which would you say will be a better move for him, Barcelona or Real Madrid? Get in the comments and talk to us. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the bell notifications so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.